For our next review, let's get started with Hit by Luc Germain.
Hit is one of my favourite tricks to perform. It's become a go-to trick for me in casual and even professional settings as well. It's super easy to perform, completely self-working. It's a gambling routine that gives you all of the power of the classic 10-card poker deal with none of the drawbacks. There are no controlling of cards, there are no forcing of cards, all of the choices are completely free and fair, and the audience aren't required to know any complicated rules of gambling games in order to be impressed by the effect itself. Most of all, thanks to its self-working nature, it's really fun to perform. You can really focus on the presentation and you can really enjoy the massive impact that it creates.
Hit by Germain basically takes the witch hand routine and flips it right on its head. What I mean by this is it completely swaps who's doing what. So instead of you guessing which hand an object is sitting in, it's the spectator who is guessing which hand is the winning hand. It takes this and says, which hand do you think is the winner? This one or this one? And they give their choice, and then you flip it over to reveal what the outcome is. This is broken up into multiple routines with multiple different presentations progressing along a larger narrative. Now, I first saw this effect in Vanishing Ink's masterclass, which was obviously led by Luc Germain. When he brought it to the table, I wasn't feeling it. He spent a whole first lecture talking all about theory and all about what magic means to us, and I loved it, and I was excited to see the first trick. And when I saw that the first trick was this, I was really underwhelmed. Mostly because I was just getting into mentalism, and the thing that was so attractive about mentalism is that it was getting us away from card tricks. The only thing I really liked about card tricks and mentalism were psychological forces, so I wasn't really feeling bringing a deck of cards into the situation. But as time went on, and as I got further into mentalism, I started to see the value of bringing cards into a routine or an act or an overall set. I saw that it could be used as a way of distinguishing, hey, I am a magician, I don't actually have supernatural powers, but here's something fun we can do to help you suspend your disbelief. My opinions on card tricks and mentalism has grown, but my pickiness for them still remains. That being said, when this was announced, I was also underwhelmed because I was expecting more of a cartomancy deck, a more personalized deck by Luc Germain. However, still I bought it. I wanted to see if I could enjoy it because clearly a lot of people in the community have been waiting for this effect and they've been waiting for this sort of release. So I gave it its chance, I purchased it, I got the download, and that's when I fell in love with it. I can't tell if it was something psychological, like I really wanted to like it and I just wasn't yet, and so I forced myself to like it, but it wasn't until I bought the download that I realized this was which hand in reverse. No one said it, it just sort of clicked in my head. It clicked in my head the fact that, one, blackjack is a very easy game to understand. You don't even have to sell it as blackjack. You can just say it's 21. A lot of people know this game as 21. You share the rules, it takes 5 seconds to understand, and you're in your actual routine. My thoughts on the method, even though I wasn't super excited about it when I first saw it introduced, I was sort of like, yeah, that's pretty cool. That's a really neat idea. I don't see myself using it, but that's pretty dope. I totally see myself using it now, but my initial thoughts on the method a few months back and right now, they remain the same. I like the method. I think it's clever. I think it's a great use of gaffed cards. And I think one of the things that really shut me off about this trick originally was the original scripting of it. Luc Germain brought up something in the masterclass that was really interesting. He says that there's many different approaches and principles that he thinks of when he sees a mentalism trick. The thing we sort of see this lie under is the sensational approach, which is more ego-driven. It's sort of like a miniature publicity stunt. It's sort of like an example of skill, an example of look at me, look how powerful I am, which is typically not the route of mentalism I align with. But what's so beautiful and so wonderful is the alternative approaches he brings into this download that weren't fully covered in the masterclass series. He brings in the idea of doing an open prediction. He brings in the idea of using a pendulum. He brings in the idea of keeping the original scripting, but being super apologetic about it, which could be funny and I think could be utilized very well. The main thing to understand here is that it doesn't matter what you're going for. You can have them win the entire time, you can have them lose the entire time, or you can have a little bit of a mishmash and you can have a written down piece of paper perfectly predicting what round each person would win. No matter what you use this for, it will still have an overwhelming magical effect. And I think that's what's important here. I think one thing that we all need to recognize with this specific trick, and with many other tricks as well, is the fact that all the work is done for us. The only work we need to focus on is how we want to present this, how we want to script it, the theater of it. There are no slights. He says this is self-working. It is. It's not hard. The only hard thing is going to be the selling of it. You need to know how you're going to explain the rules. You need to know exactly what your goal and your motivation is and why. If you want them to win the entire time, why? Are you influencing them? Did you introduce a lucky object? Did you charm an object that they already have on them, like a ring or a necklace or a shoe? There's all these different things that the magician is to focus on, because the actual deception of it is done. There's nothing for you to worry about. It is self-working. If you want to do justice to this trick, you take it and you come up with a beautifully original presentation. That is the magic work that is put into this. It isn't the sleight of hand, it's your sleight of pen. It's your ability to tell a story or introduce a narrative into a set. My idea is I want to take someone's ring or necklace and I want to sort of charm that with I would love to introduce the pendulum into this, and I'd love to use it as dowsing and then get into some more lucky stuff. I'd like to do that. That's sort of all over the place, but I like the idea of letting the spectator know that they can trust their instincts and that they can trust their gut feeling. When gambling, I don't know. See, I'm still working it through. I've been thinking about it ever since he brought it up. Cut that out. In fact, I really want to share something that he said on Vanishing Ink's blog posts that I thought was really nice. And this is from The Illusion of Skill by Luc Dramé on Sunday, December 6th, 2020. So if you want to go back and read this yourself, I'd highly recommend that, especially if you're considering on buying the trick. But he says in the final paragraph, most pleasing of all, the self-working nature of the routine allows you, the performer, to truly focus on being present and in the moment during the performance of the routine. With no need to worry or think about the method, you are liberated to connect with your spectators in the moment. If that doesn't shout theater or magic theory or just emotional connection with your audience, I don't know what does. And I think that final paragraph in that blog post sums up exactly how you should think of this trick. Also, Andy Gladwin shared a really great blog post about the relevance of your magic tricks to your audience. He posted this on Sunday, November 29th, 2020. It was a very short blog post, but he essentially had 3 little bullets that everyone should consider in all of their magic whenever they perform. 1, are your tricks relevant to your audience? 2, are your presentations relevant and up to date, or are you still using pattern from 20 years ago? 3, are your props relevant to your personality, age, performance style, and the environment you are performing in? And the reason why I bring that up is because you are focusing on the scripting of this trick. You need to know all the different situations you're going to be in and how to make the game of 21 or blackjack relevant to who you're doing this with. I will go ahead on a limb and I'll say this trick will work for kids, but you have to make it work for kids. You need to put in the time, be like, how can I introduce this concept to them? How can I maybe not approach it as gambling, but as a card game that is very easy for them to learn? And how can I make this relevant to a senior citizen? Someone who's handling cards all the time. They might very well know of the game of blackjack and 21. How much do you need to explain? What can you do to cut down your words as short as possible so you can just get into the effect and get into the theater of it? No matter what, I think you're going to find it very easy to apply your own scripting, your own presentation, and your own theatrical approach to this trick because all of the hard work is done for you. This trick fully grew on me. I saw it as really, really annoying when I first saw it. But again, I just kept returning to it and people were hyping it up. I gave it the $25 gamble, the final try. And after I saw that 1 hour download, I was sold, and I am personally very excited to play this and test it out in front of real people. There's not a lot to go over other than just the importance of scripting and the importance of theater in magic. That's really what this trick is putting to the test with you. And if you think you have a good approach and you think that you can bring something really interesting to the narrative of the game at hand, you will have a lot of fun with this trick. And my mind and imagination is going wild with all the different narratives I can play with. I hope you enjoy it. I really enjoy it. That's all for this one. If you like this, please like it on this page. Click the bell. Do what you need to do. If you don't like it, dislike it. I don't really care. I'll take it. Bye.